Can Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen make some changes for Saturday's playoff game against the Packers? My name is Harrison Graham. We are going to explore that here on Chicago Bears Now. And I'm going to ask you, you put your ball cap hat on. You're the coach. You're Dennis Allen. What is the number one thing you would do differently defensively? Because everybody seems to have answers, and I don't know how many there really are for Dennis Allen. I've come up with a few that I would at least explore, but if you were in charge, what is the number one thing you would do? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, the stage is set. We got Bears, Packers on Saturday night. Can Dennis Allen make some defensive adjustments for this game, and what do those adjustments look like as his defense has been struggling in recent weeks? I know they only gave up 19 points on Sunday, and Ben Johnson said they played well enough to win. And look, in a vacuum, 19 points, you'll take that. But the defense has been trending down. In the 4 games out of the last 5 that have been good teams, take the Browns out of it, against the Packers twice, the 49ers, and the Lions, they're giving up over 26 points per game, over 412 yards per game, and 57.4% third down conversion. I'm just going to look this up on the fly because I do this every week anyway. That would be easily worst in the NFL for the season, 57.4%. Dallas, Matt Eberflus's defense for the year is at 47.3%. And the frustrating part is for a good chunk of the season, the Bears were top 5 in third down defense. They are now 22nd looking at it, 40.9%. Which, hell, if you told me right now, hey, 40.9% in the playoffs, I'll take it. Because that's much better than what you've been over the last month and a half. They're just getting killed on third down. Look, we know they have limitations. We know they don't have a good pass rush. But if you can just be good situationally, which we talked about in the preview, you can still get by, and this offense can be good enough to win some of these games. So let's dive into some things that Dennis Allen could try to do differently. I've got 2 player recommendations that I would at least look into if I was DA in this staff. Number 1, I would consider playing Tyrique Stevenson at least more, if not as a full-time starter for this game. 0 snaps against the Lions, and Ben Johnson said, well, Nahshon Wright and Jaylon were full go. This is the first game Jaylon Johnson was ready to play a full snap load. They wanted to see what that looked like. Well, it didn't look good. It did not look good. And yeah, you hope it's better moving forward. And Nahshon Wright, for a big chunk of this year, has been a good player. Jalen's your top guy on paper, but it didn't look great. Against Detroit, Jaylon Johnson targeted 7 times, 6 catches for 81 yards. Nahshon Wright, 5 targets, 4 catches for 68 yards when targeted. CJ Gardner-Johnson, kind of a different deal, but still gave up 63 yards on 5 receptions when targeted 7 times. Speaking of CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's in the concussion protocol, and it's unclear at best if he'll be able to play against the Packers. I would say it's very unlikely. So that leaves me sitting here with Tyrique Stevenson, who the last few weeks had played a part-time role because Jaylon Johnson wasn't ready for a full snap share, was actually grading out pretty well. I think at minimum you got to get him back into that role. And you have to at least feel out the game. You want to start Jaylon and Nahshon on the outside, feel it out early, I'm fine with that. If it's going poorly, you got to be ready to put number 29 in the game. And I'm not saying Tyrique Stevenson is some perfect solution, but he's a guy who started a lot of games for you. He's a guy who's made big plays in this league. Yeah, he's gotten beat a lot too, but the guys you're playing right now are getting beat a lot. So I think you got to be willing to go to Tyrique Stevenson if you're Dennis Allen. If not, just start him outright for one of Jaylon Johnson or Nahshon Wright. So I do think that is one thing you really, really have to consider in your struggling secondary. Another guy that I think should play more is DeMarco Jackson. Now, I don't know if I'm fully just bench TJ or Tremaine and start Jackson, whereas with Stevenson, I'd actually be okay with it. But he should play at least some. He played 0 snaps against the Niners, only 12 against the Lions. And I watched Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards right now. They don't look like themselves. I don't think they're playing at 100%. And no one is, but they feel more like 80% than 92% or whatever. Everybody's banged up by the end of the year. But they've both dealt with injuries this year. And since they've been back, it's not looked the same. In the middle of the year, the few games they played together, they looked great. on the field together. This last 3 weeks, though, it's been ugly. They can't cover. Once again, I think they got 9 or 10 targeted each combined. They were targeted 10 times combined, I should say. I think they got 8 catches. I mean, it was just a disaster against the Lions. The one thing DeMarco Jackson was showing pretty well is, one, around the football a lot, led the team in tackles in 2 games he started, got NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and pretty good in coverage. Like, he was grading out well per PFF in coverage. He was getting some hands on the football. Had an interception. If he can cover, I mean, I think you got to get him on the field some, because the 2 guys you're playing are not covering well. Again, it's probably not a full-time role, but, third and longs, obvious pass situations, I'd put him in the game, because I think he's covering better right now than TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds are. And Courtney Cronin, to this point, kind of outlined that Jared Goff picked him apart on throws over the middle. Now, that's a Goff staple. We know he's excellent at doing that, but you don't think Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, they're going to attack the middle of the field and expose these linebackers in space? CJ Gardner-Johnson or whoever's playing nickel, knock on wood, Kyler Gordon can play, knock on wood, CJ Gardner-Johnson can play, but even if they can, we have no idea how they're going to play. Gardner-Johnson's been getting picked apart in coverage recently. You need more speed in the middle of your defense, and DeMarco Jackson is a pretty fast linebacker compared to your other 2 right now. So Tyrique Stevenson, DeMarco Jackson, I'm not saying they're going to save you, but they're guys that I would at least get on the field and give them an opportunity in this ballgame. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. Let me ask you this. Who should play more? Type TS for Tyrique Stevenson, DJ for DeMarco Jackson, or just both? Should both play more? I think both should play more. We can debate how much, but I think more than a 0/very small role, at least a contributor role, if not a bigger role, especially for Tyrique Stevenson. All right, today's show is brought to you by Rocket Money. Are you looking to save up? Are you looking to make a big purchase and you need to build up your savings? Rocket Money is going to help you do that. I want to ask you this question. What is the most ridiculous subscription or hidden fee you've discovered that you were paying for? Were you paying for something more than one time unknowingly? Did Rocket Money help you cut spending in a specific category, like overspending or dining, shopping on subscriptions? How does it feel to have it create a custom budget for you? Well, Rocket Money does all that. When I signed up with the Rocket Money app, my wife and I, we were like, oh my God, we have 2 subscriptions for the same streaming account. I'm not going to say which one, but we were paying double for like a year. Brutal. And they're going to identify that stuff for you and cut back on your spending. You can set budgets. They will keep you on task and on track throughout the month by sending you alerts. They can even negotiate to lower certain bills for you guys. If you're paying $200 a month on your phone bill, they could probably find a better one for you. They will scan services and find the best deals available. It's a really, really good app. My wife and I bought a house recently, and without Rocket Money, it probably wouldn't have been possible, at least not as fast as we were able to do it and save up on our budgets and to scale back on our spending. Rocket Money is going to help you do that. It's a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. That's rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. One more time, rocketmoney.com/bearsnow. Check the link in the comments and description. Okay, number 3. And again, they've tried both, and we'll get to that. I think you just have to play more zone than man at this point. To the points we've mentioned, you feel slow at linebacker. You feel slow in the secondary. If you play more zone, yeah, there's probably more easy, like, underneath completions. But I think you have to go that route. And listen, I give DA credit for this. He's tried both. Against the Niners, they went with the zone-heavy approach, got torched. Against the Lions, went with the man-heavy approach, got torched. I think he's trying. But I think in the end, you don't have the speed and athleticism right now in your back 7. I think you play zone and you force Jordan Love to be methodical. He's a guy historically that will put the ball in harm's way. Maybe he gets impatient and forces one later in the game. And you try to clamp down and win in the red zone. Win on third down. That's to me, that's your best shot to get off the field defensively. Of course, you're going to have some snaps where you play some man coverage, but I think the majority of your reps have to be in zone. Try to eliminate explosives. Try to force them to dink and dunk. and to get off the field on third down, force a few punts, and again, hopefully Jordan Love forces one at some point in the ball game. Another thing you could try, just personnel-wise, is you could try some 3 safety looks, and you might have to, given this nickelback situation. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's in the concussion protocol. The Bears hope to have Kyler Gordon back at practice this week. Whether or not he'll be able to play it on Saturday is a totally different story, and even if he does, it probably won't be a full load of snaps. Here's an idea. Do you bring Brisker down as almost like a second hybrid linebacker and then put Elijah Hicks or Jonathan Owens next to Kevin Byard? It's not ideal, but Brisker, Dennis Allen said it himself, he has a physical presence for us. Get him downhill. Play him in the box even more than he already is. Use him as a linebacker, and he's more athletic than some of the guys playing at linebacker. I mean, Tremaine, fully healthy, is a pretty good athlete, but he feels a little compromised. TJ's more of an instinctive player. He has to rely on that, but with him being a little banged up, that's the speed he does have, doesn't feel there. Brisker, at least getting downhill, you can blitz him some. He's good in run support. I would maybe consider that a package with Brisker playing more of a linebacker role, and then Elijah Hicks and or Jonathan Owens playing as kind of a third safety next to Kevin Byard. Subscribe to the channel. We will have videos all week long getting you ready for the Packers game on Saturday. We, of course, have videos every single day, 24/7, 365. We go live for every single game. We also go live every Monday and Thursday. We drop daily videos on the channel, long form and short form content. Don't miss out on any of it. Hit that notification bell as well after you subscribe. I think one thing I would try in the blitz game is on earlier downs, because it feels like Dennis Allen, when he does blitz, it's almost exclusively on third down. Now, I know that's probably not literally the case, but maybe just random 1st and 10, hey, we're bringing 6. Try and catch them off balance. A lot of teams on first down, it's just kind of little drive starter plays, right? Like quick throw, handoff, whatever. We'll try to catch them sleeping and get to Jordan Love, maybe create a turnover. I think if you're only blitzing, kind of just guessing when to blitz on third down, you're going to be living in a tough situation. So I would consider some 1st and 2nd down blitzes. See if you can kind of steal a play and then get into a 3rd and long and you just play coverage and try to rally to the football. I think that's something that they could try. So that is something else I would explore. Here's the problem and just kind of the challenge with all this. You realistically aren't going to be able to make some just major wholesale changes that are going to make a bad defense a good defense overnight. Like we said the other day, you're just going to have to be better situationally in general, regardless of who's out there, what you do schematically. Can you get off the field on third down, 40% or less? That's the target I would number. If they have 10 third downs, can you hold them to 4 or less conversions? Can you force field goals in the red zone? They've actually done that a decent amount this year. Not against the Niners, but against the Lions. The Packers game at Soldier Field, they did it well. Can you do that again? And then can you get a takeaway or 2? Ideally at least 2, but you got to get at least 1. I mean, that's minimum. If you don't get any takeaways, you're not going to win. So situational defense, maybe you try a couple of those personnel shifts, but you're not going to go from the 27th best defense outside of takeaways or whatever it is to the 12th. You're hoping you can be serviceable and make timely plays, and the offense is good enough. That's going to be the formula to win these games. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. It's at HCramNFL. That's where I am across all social media platforms. We can chop it up over there as well. Subscribe to the channel also, and bear down.